high tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
That's the ad that has President Donald Trump fuming and cutting off trade talks with Canada. The U.S. president attacking the ad in a post which he attributed to Canada rather than Ontario as fraudulent and fake. It comes at a pivotal time in the trade relationship where there appeared to be momentum towards a deal. Queen's Park reporter Shawn Jeffords is here with us now to break all of this down. So, Shawn, talk to us more about the ad and also, of course, the consequences of it.
So, Angie, yes, that $75 million ad is something that Premier Doug Ford's government commissioned and has been airing on U.S. television stations, cable news stations, trying to get the attention of U.S. President Donald Trump, but also Republican lawmakers and voters in hopes of pushing back against the president's tariff agenda and using the words of the famous free trader and, the co-author of the original U.S.-Canada free trade deal, President Ronald Reagan, against President Donald Trump. So Premier Doug Ford has said that he has been hoping that, frankly, it convinces Trump to reverse course. Let's hear from Premier Ford earlier this week about this ad specifically, comments he made at Queen's Park.
I heard that the president heard our ad. I'm sure he wasn't too happy, but it's real because it was coming from the best president the country's ever seen, Ronald Reagan. It's going to be focused right across the country, but also in Republican-held areas, because what I feel, the Reagan Republicans are going to be fighting with a MAGA group, and let's hope Reagan Republicans win.
So, Angie, as you said, Donald Trump clearly has heard this ad and has called off trade talks between the U.S. and Canada. Premier Doug Ford's office has issued a statement saying it stands behind the ads. It does not think that they are fraudulent. It's used these clips in context, and we'll have to see what they do next.
And with that being said, of course, there's that continued talk about whether this is legal, but talk to us also about whether or not this, in fact, was a good political move.
You know, it's clear that there are competing interests here. Ontario has been hit very hard by these U.S. tariffs, steel, auto, softwood lumber. These are all things that impact the province's economy. So Premier Doug Ford has been trying to push back more aggressively, criticizing President Donald Trump very publicly, all while Prime Minister Mark Carney's team are taking a more delicate approach. Obviously, they are at the table trying to negotiate with Trump and his team. Let's hear from Ian Lee, a professor at Carleton University, about the dangers, frankly, of the involvement of the provincial governments in these talks.
I think it was a mistake. I'm not trying to say that I predicted that Trump would abrogate the trade negotiations, but I just don't think it's prudent for any leader of any country or a subnational major leader, like a premier of a major province, to involve themselves in the politics of another country in that country.
So, Angie, Premier Doug Ford has not held back, and this isn't the first time that the Premier has attempted to intervene. You know, you'll recall that the province pulled U.S. booze off of LCBO shelves. It continues to not be available in Ontario, and the Premier says it won't be until such a time where the U.S. lifts those tariffs. So clearly he wants to be involved in this fight, and we'll have to wait to see if he continues to be in or if he pulls this ad.
Shawn, thank you so much.